Well, today is the day that I fix the hammer, the big whammer, I call it. 44 pounds, which was 20 kilograms. Well, if you look at the handle is made out of really thin material. No matter how many times I try to weld it, it'll break because of just the corrosion. So I'm not really sure. There's like a stud sticking up here, which is really weird. But to heck with that. What I have decided is to gouge all this out and have a piece of solid rod stock here, which is a little bit long. I will cut it probably about a foot long and weld it down in place, because that handle right here will slide right down that. So with that welded in, I can simply slide the thin metal and then pin it in place. So first thing that I'm going to need is something to cut it out, which it looks like I've got here. This is going to be a lot nicer using some shop tools rather than on top of the mountain with a welder that got damaged. So we can get this cart over here. We can set up for the gouging. Let me get that all set up and we'll go forward. Well, grounded pretty much all the other stuff off and recessed it. Now I need to cut a piece of this off to weld onto it. I'll come over here and use the bandsaw. And drop it right. That's good right there. I need my tape measure. Well, I figure I was just going to put about a foot on there. And then maybe put a couple holes so I can put the other part of the handle all the way down or out like 6 inches. So let me bring this down closer, right about there. Take a measurement. It looks about 12 inches right there. I'll just tighten this down. Nice and tight. Look at what we got. And start her up. And okay, now we're going to get our cooling. And then set it to start cutting. Very slowly. Now it's interesting, there's been some people that have cut down onto the table itself. Looks like we're about 3/4 of the way. And it'll take itself a little while to cut, so we're going to let that do its little job. Yeah, we're almost through. There we go. Now I'm going to have to taper the end, grind it down. Probably I'll use the cutting machine and then cut it down so I can start welding from the inside and out. So undo this, and this was the metal that some of this was used to make pins for that Bobcat 331 bucket that I made. So I definitely want to make sure I keep me some of this for my Bobcat pins, because I'm going to make some more. So all right, well, I'm going to get the gouger and get ready to put it on to weld, but after I gouge it, I'm going to drill some holes first. Be better to drill the holes first. Well, I've decided to drill holes 2 inches and 8 inches from the end. So there'll be 2 inches down on the handle to put a pin in. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do on that, but here we're going to use the drill press. So now I got to figure out what size pin I'm going to use. I'll go over and take a look and see what we got, and then drill the holes. Well, looks like we're set up for the first hole. Let's make sure we turn it the right direction. I will start drilling the holes. I can't hold on to this while I'm doing it, and when I'm done we'll get over to the sledgehammer head. Well, there's the piece. Down the end I tapered it there to be able to get the weld in deep, so I'm just not welding to the surface. So looking at it, I'm going to put the holes in the same direction as the hammer piece, the hammer, like that. I sort of felt that that was sort of the best position to do it. So I'm going to get this thing lined up. I'm sort of surprised it's standing there. Get it all set up, do a couple little tack welds, and then check the alignment. Well, I've set it all up, ready to be tack welded in place. Everything looks to be good. I'm going to be using this welder here. Got it set up for welding 1/2 inch. I'm going to try to get in as much as I can in the middle there to weld. First put like a tack there and a tack on the other side, and then slowly start going around. So all right, let's see, it's like come a little off. Well, in order to make the big hammer, we're gonna have to use the baby hammer. Did I just do that? I tapped it and it just broke. That's an interesting one. That weld broke just all the way through the weld. Kind of weldy. What rod is in that thing? I don't know. it's looking a lot better. I keep welding back and forth on either side because the heat tends to pull. Once I get enough weld in, I won't have to do that. Well, if you look carefully, my weld to the bar is now still underneath where the outer surface is, still recessed. So you get a good weld around there. So I will then now make a full pass around a couple times, and then I'll show you what we have when we're done. Well, I've carefully welded around, and then I ground it down a little bit to see how far down I can push the handle then to drill that hole. But the end of this is pretty rough, so I'm gonna have to grind that down and see what I've got available. All right. Well, I've wire brushed my metal, and I flattened out the end, and I cleaned the inside just a little bit with the air drill there. So I got it a little bit, and so now it slides on down pretty good right there. So now I just need to measure up 2 inches from here on to here, mark it, and drill a 3/8 inch hole. So then I can put the length of this at that point, or at that point right there. So I can give me a little longer extension if I want. I probably won't, but if I ever needed a little bit longer throw, I can do that. So let's measure it and then drill that hole and see what we get. Well, I painted it with rusty metal primer, and then I use anti-seize and just coated everything, because this thing could be out in the weather. So I want to just make sure that I do everything I can to keep it from corroding up on me. I just slowly drop this down, and then notice that I have to go down a little bit more, but I anticipated that because I wanted it a little bit tight. So I can just tap it down just a little bit, and then I should be able to get the pin in. All right, well, I decided to put a bolt in it for now. So sticking out right here, I'm just going to cut it flush. That's a locking nut right there. We'll cut that, and then we'll test it out. Well, I didn't have any silver, but I had some gray, so I just spray painted a little bit of gray on that. I gotta carry this outside, try it out. It's a little bit heavy to hold with one arm. So, do we have something we can try to smush as a test? Well, there's just a little rock. Thought I saw one around here. Or is there a bigger rock around here somewhere? Well, it's not too big of a rock, but I will just lift it up and drop this down without even really swinging. Well, let's see how it smushes that sucker. Well, there's a bug right there. Here we go. I'm just gonna drop it. Well, that's just dropping the weight of the hammer about a foot. So it makes a little ting sound because the metal slaps on the inside. If it bothers me later on, I might just spray some rubberizing on the inside of this tube, and that might actually just stabilize it. But it smashes things pretty good. That's just basically holding it and then dropping it on anything. I held that one sort of at the side. So it's pretty hard to do with one hand and holding this. So looks like the Whammer is complete, ready to be tested out on various boulders, rocks, and miscellaneous. So that's a good one for it tonight. I'm all done, and get ready, get some good sleep, and everybody have an awesome evening.